Imagine this, a foul-mouthed, no-nonsense leader steps onto the global stage, promising to rid his country of drugs and crime by any means necessary. He wins the presidency in a landslide, defies superpowers, curses world leaders on live television, and becomes known as the strongman of Southeast Asia. But how did a boy born in a small town in the Visayas, who grew up amid political connections yet faced personal rebellions and a turbulent path, transform into Rodrigo Duterte, the president who reshaped the Philippines? This is the extraordinary story of Rodrigo Roa Duterte's rise from the streets of Davao to Malacanan Palace. It's a tale of grit, controversy, raw populism, and unyielding will that captivated millions while dividing the world. Stick around as we unpack how this man became one of the most polarizing yet popular figures in modern Philippine history. Rodrigo Roa Duterte was born on 28 March 1945 in Masin, southern Leyte, during the final days of World War II. His father, Vicente Gonzalez Duterte, was a Cebuano lawyer who later became governor of the undivided Davao province. His mother, Soledad Roa Duterte, was a public school teacher and civic leader from Agusan, known for her community work and later involvement in the people power movement that toppled Ferdinand Marcos. The family had roots in the Visayas and Mindanao, with Duterte even claiming Chinese ancestry through his grandfather from Xiamen. When Rodrigo was just a young boy, around 4 years old, the family moved to Davao in Mindanao. His father's political career provided a relatively stable upbringing compared to many Filipinos at the time, but it wasn't without its challenges. The Duterte household emphasized public service, justice, and community. Young Rodi, as he was called, grew up witnessing governance up close, yet he was far from a model child. He was rebellious, undisciplined, and got expelled from schools more than once. Stories from his youth paint him as a street-smart kid navigating the rough edges of a growing city in a region plagued by instability, communist insurgency, and crime. Duterte pursued higher education in Manila. He earned a political science degree from the Lyceum of the Philippines University in 1968 and a law degree from San Beda College in 1972. He passed the bar and returned south. These years in the capital exposed him to the contrasts between urban elite life and the realities back home in Mindanao, a place often overlooked by Manila-centric politics. He has spoken about personal struggles, including family dynamics and a restless youth, but his mother's influence as a teacher and activist instilled in him a deep sense of duty mixed with a pragmatic, sometimes ruthless, approach to problems. In 1977, Duterte joined the Davao City Prosecutor's Office, where he spent nearly a decade handling cases in a city notorious for violence, gangs, and lawlessness. Davao in the 1970s and 80s was a frontier town, crime-ridden, affected by insurgency, and far from the economic centers of the north. As a prosecutor, he saw the system's failures up close, corrupt officials, ineffective policing, and communities terrorized by criminals. This experience shaped his worldview that the law, as written, often failed the people it was meant to protect. In 1986, following the People Power Revolution, Duterte was appointed Vice Mayor of Davao City. 2 years later, in 1988, he ran for and won the mayoralty. This marked the beginning of his long dominance in local politics. He would serve as mayor for over 22 years across 7 terms, with brief stints as congressman and vice mayor in between due to term limits. From the start, Duterte positioned himself as a tough, hands-on leader. He implemented curfews, cracked down on petty crime, and gained a reputation for personally patrolling streets at night. His methods were unorthodox, rumors of death squads and summary justice swirled early on, but crime rates dropped dramatically. Davao transformed from a dangerous backwater into one of the safest and most business-friendly cities in the Philippines. The struggles were real. Mindanao's challenges, poverty, separatism, communist rebels, and powerful clans tested him constantly. Duterte navigated alliances, rivalries, and family politics, including tensions within his own household. His marriage to Elizabeth Zimmerman, with whom he had 3 children, Paolo, Sarah, and Sebastian, ended in annulment amid personal admissions of infidelity. Yet, he built a political dynasty, with family members stepping into roles. His rise wasn't smooth. He faced opposition from elites, media scrutiny, and accusations of authoritarian tactics even as a mayor. But the results spoke. Investors came, tourism grew, and residents felt safer. Duterte cultivated an image as the Iron Mayor, or Duterte Harry, a no-nonsense protector willing to bend rules for order. By the 2010s, national frustration with corruption, inequality, slow bureaucracy, and the drug epidemic was boiling over. Traditional politicians from Manila seemed out of touch. Duterte, after initially resisting, announced his presidential bid in 2015. Running under the PDP Laban party, he campaigned on a simple, explosive platform. Stop corruption, fix infrastructure, and wage an unrelenting war on drugs. His foul language, anti-elite rhetoric, and promises to solve problems in 3 to 6 months resonated with the masses tired of empty promises. He won in a landslide in May 2016 with over 16 million votes, the highest ever at the time, becoming the first president from Mindanao. His inauguration speech set the tone. No leader, however strong, can succeed without the support of the people. On day 1, the war on drugs began in earnest. Police operations intensified nationwide. Duterte publicly encouraged citizens and officers to kill drug pushers and users, offering bounties and vowing to fill Manila Bay with bodies. Thousands died in police operations and vigilant killings. Official figures put drug-related deaths around 6,000 during his term, but human rights groups and independent estimates ranged from 12,000 to 30,000, many from poor urban slums. Duterte defended it fiercely, arguing it was necessary to save a generation from methamphetamine addiction that destroyed families and fueled crime. Supporters credited it with reducing drug availability and making streets safer. Critics called it a war on the poor, extrajudicial killings, and a human rights catastrophe. Peak controversies defined his presidency. He clashed with the United States, calling President Obama names and pivoting toward China and Russia. He cursed the Catholic Church, journalists, and international bodies. The International Criminal Court faced his defiance over the drug war. Yet, domestically, his approval ratings stayed sky-high. He pushed build infrastructure, roads, bridges, airports, and ports, accelerating development, especially in Mindanao. Tax reforms like train aimed to boost revenue. He handled the COVID-19 pandemic with lockdowns and vaccine pushes, though critics noted uneven responses. He challenged oligarchs, promoted federalism ideas, and empowered local governance. Personal style, jokes, profanity, late-night addresses kept him connected to ordinary Filipinos. Duterte's legacy is deeply divided. To millions, he was a strong man who delivered tangible safety, infrastructure gains, and a voice for the neglected periphery against Manila elites. Crime dropped in many areas, drug dens were dismantled, and a new assertiveness in foreign policy emerged. Lessons from his rise. Authenticity wins in the age of populism. When institutions fail the people, voters will back decisive, even harsh, action. Grit and local track record matter more than polished campaigns. He proved a poor boy narrative, framed through regional underdog status and street-level empathy, can triumph despite elite opposition. Critics point to eroded democratic norms, culture of impunity, strained international relations, and unresolved human rights issues. His drug war's human cost, especially on the vulnerable, remains a dark chapter. Families lost loved ones, sometimes with little evidence of guilt. Post-presidency, debates continue, with legal reckonings like ICC interests lingering. Yet, even detractors acknowledge his popularity endured because he addressed real fears, drugs, corruption, insecurity that previous leaders ignored. Rodrigo Duterte's journey teaches that leadership in turbulent times often demands uncomfortable trade-offs. From a rebellious youth in Davao to the nation's strongman, he embodied the frustrations and hopes of a people craving order amid chaos. Whether hero or villain depends on perspective, but his impact on the Philippines is undeniable. He showed that sometimes, the man who breaks the mold is the one who gets things done, or at least tries with brutal conviction. What do you think? Did the ends justify the means? Let us know in the comments, like if this story inspired you, and subscribe for more deep dives into leaders who changed history. Thanks for watching.